Hey everyone, it's Andre Luck here to share my video for this week. So last week I mentioned I'd be starting a sales leadership series specifically towards sports sales. And each week I'll talk through a different topic as it relates to sales leadership. And the first week for today, I'm going to talk about creating winning sales culture and some of the challenges that come with that, the solutions to those challenges, and then also the long-term impact of having a winning sales culture. And I think to kick it off, one of the things that I got asked a lot was around, what's your culture like? As if people were interviewing for roles or looking to join the team, like, tell me about your sales culture. And it's challenging sometimes because obviously you don't want to be biased, you want to be transparent. And sometimes I was over transparent about the culture, so people knew exactly what they were stepping into. There was someone I hired who's like, you didn't lie to me at all about what was going on, some of the challenges, the things to look forward to. And I always appreciated that person saying it because I try to be transparent. And I think that's a big part of creating the culture. But people know when they're part of a sales culture, a great sales culture, and they want to tell others, they want to encourage others to join the team. And what I'll look to do today is really articulate, what creates that, and then like put some tangible examples behind how you can create that winning sales culture and some of the challenges that come with it. So the first challenge, we'll talk about three. The first challenge that I'll talk about is around motivating a diverse team. So when you think about it, you're getting a lot of different people, anywhere from 15 to 50, 60 plus, to all come from their backgrounds and join this team. It's just like with any team. You have people with different motivations, different challenges, traumas in their background, different things that they're looking to accomplish, and bringing everyone together. And think just because you put them all in the same room or working for the same team, to expect them to just get on board and be part of a bigger vision, like they have to be bought into what that is. So I think that's part of the screening process. But really, it takes a lot of work to get to know each individual within the team and manage to each individual. And that's something that I'd like to say humbly is one of my strengths. I was very accepting of everyone, and I wanted everyone to come into work knowing that they authentically could be themselves and could be genuine and bring their whole self to work. Because one of the challenges you see sometimes within a sales culture is like, all right, we got to look like this, got to sound like this, maybe the stereotypical sales culture like Wolf of Wall Street or something like that. And that's not really how teams mesh together, and that's not always the best recipe for sales success. You take different individuals, some are extroverted, some are introverted, some are motivated by leadership, some are motivated by money. It's not for us to decide and judge that, but it's to understand what's that bigger why and bigger purpose behind it. So, getting to some of the solutions, it's like individualizing your leadership and your management style to that person and what's most important to them. But more than anything, creating a culture and an environment that people feel comfortable being themselves, stepping into, and it's respectful. There's times I've been part of cultures where we're kind of tweaking it and trying to fix it, and get rid of some bad apples and some bad seeds. But when you bring in new people to that, I always told them, like, I want to keep like you like in this bubble because we're working on some things over here, and eventually we can implement you into that. But I never wanted someone to come into a bad culture, and I was always transparent about when I felt great about it. I'm like, I'm excited you're coming to be a part of this because I feel really good about the individuals you're going to be working with and learning from. So it was really something that myself, the leaders, the people on the team, we were very intentional about creating a culture on all the teams I've been a part of that's going to lead to success and make everyone feel welcome and want. It doesn't mean that there weren't their challenges and there wasn't disrespect at times, but you look to try and address those best you can. And if it really gets to the point where it is a huge challenge, then you potentially have to remove some people so that you're not causing trouble across the whole department just for an individual. And it kind of goes into the next challenge. When you're looking to create a winning sales culture, you want people to want to be high performers and high achievers. So they want to be super competitive, but also collaborate and work with their teammates, which sometimes could feel like a contradiction because you're asking them to go out, beat everyone, set the standard, but then root for people too. So it's like, I want you to do well, but not as well as me. But I think one of the ways that you can, help remedy that is creating, team incentives, team goals, letting them know that the bigger vision of the organization and the department, that always comes first. Talk about your team goals, talk about the team successes. And if the team succeeds, that creates more opportunities for individuals. So, to make it tangible, give an example, like if someone wants to move up into leadership, or we need to create new opportunities for growth for people within the organization. If we have this super high performer, but the rest of the team's not performing well, you're not going to get much opportunity to grow and expand and create new responsibilities, because that's not a priority. The priority is fixing the problem and getting the team back on track, not taking care of one or two individuals who are looking to grow throughout their career. So what I always talked about was, focus on the team performing well. One, the people underneath you that you're looking to lead and influence, they'll see that you're bought in because they need someone who cares about the team if you're ever going to lead. But the more the team succeeds, that creates more opportunities for us as a department, which can help you grow your career and take on more responsibility and get leadership and things like that, if that's what drives and motivates you. But also, you want to make sure that there isn't one individual who's so competitive that's ruining it for the rest of the team. I've had situations like that very early in my leadership career. I had an individual, very top performer, like crushed like the peers by like double the revenue. And what I told this person was, hey, I think it's great, because this person was way too competitive, and it definitely upset and ruffled feathers within the team. So one of the things I told this person was, hey, we exceeded our department organizational goal by over $1 million. You did this, say it was like $250,000, which is great, double your rest of your team. Even if you weren't on the team and we just replaced you with someone who just got to their goal or just didn't have you, we still exceeded our goal by $750,000, $800,000. And that's not to say that you're not important, but it's just putting it in perspective that the team is the bigger focus. The team is the bigger goal. One of the questions, you can do a lot of this through screening in your interview process. One of the questions I like to ask is, what about you rubs people the wrong way? And we'd ask, like, tell me about your competitiveness, and like ask questions like that. And like, when were you in a last competitive situation, to try and understand, all right, how competitive is this person, and do they see this as a challenge, do they see that as a strength of theirs? And then you make the decision, like, all right, is this the right type of person to bring into the mix? Or if you have brought them in and starting to create some animosity, having a clear conversation with that person, and making sure that that it's something that you can fix. The third challenge I want to talk about is aligning with other departments. So that we'll keep this specifically like to the sales department, because like in ticket sales, you have your service team, you have your sales team, new sales, you got a group sales team, premium, inside sales. So collaborating across different departments, sometimes that could be difficult, because when I was an inside sales manager, I was so excited to be into leadership, and I got to manage my team. But a lot of times your team and your individuals have to sacrifice for the greater good. You got to work, additional shifts. You got to go out to events and things like that. You kind of get, the short end of the stick sometimes, as you're trying to build and develop for other opportunities, or maybe you're testing out new campaigns and new initiatives that aren't going to necessarily drive a ton of revenue, but you're developing future sales leaders within the team and sales stars within the team. So you kind of have to sacrifice sometimes what's better for the greater good. But then also, just aligning with other departments on the key initiatives. So there may be things that other departments need to help out with. So maybe like the season ticket sales goal, like we're getting close to that, but we need our group sales team to pitch in, but they want to focus on their group opportunities. So as leaders, making sure that we're aligned there and getting that, cross-departmental alignment. That can be challenging sometimes, because maybe they're financially incentivized to focus just on their group sales versus helping the team with their season ticket sales, or individuals within the team. They're like, I got my own things I need to work on. So this, I think everyone kind of gets like the challenges that come with that in your department and across the organization. Really what that comes down to is aligning on the core goals and the key goals. So if everyone knows, like, these are the one or two key goals within our department that align within the bigger goals within the organization, that's where it starts. Because when everyone has different goals that they're going after, different tracks that they're on, things that they're trying to achieve, but it doesn't all align to the greater good, that's where a lot of challenges and animosity happens. That's where lack of alignment and frustration, you create those culture issues. So if everyone's aligned, it starts from the top. Everything that's being asked ties to the greater good. So you can always bring it back to that. If you need help from somebody, or if you need someone to support you it all fits in. If it and it also makes it very clear if it doesn't align to the greater good, you can easily say no, like no, that's not in alignment with our goals and our vision. So all that ties together to create, a better department, better organization. Not to add more meetings to people's calendar, but that's a good way too to create that alignment and collaboration, because now if you structure the meetings right, because that's where I've done well and also failed of just having meetings to meet, and like you got a random topic this week and random topic that week, it's not aligned. I think before you set this meeting with everyone, it's like, here are the goals for this quarter or this month or this year, whatever it may be, and get everyone aligned on those goals. So when you go into the meeting, we're talking about things that relate to those goals. We're not talking about all these other random things that waste people's time. So that could be a good way too, having a cadence of meetings to talk about, here's how we can all align and work together. And when you're in alignment, all this to, bring full circle back to winning, having a winning sales culture. When everyone's in alignment and working together, that all, goes together into building this winning sales culture, and everyone feels that and feels that everyone's on the same page. So those are the challenges, and then the solutions to those challenges. So challenging and motivating a diverse team, balancing competition with collaboration, and then aligning everyone across departments. So now I want to touch on what are some of the long-term outcomes that come from having these solutions and a winning sales culture. One, improve morale. Everyone knows that everyone's in it together. It's just a better feeling within the department, even if like the stuff happening on the field or on the court isn't how you want it to be. But if everyone's working together within the business side and within the sales team, you can feel that, and just everyone feels better, which then leads to more production and more productivity, which in the sales team, that means more sales. So if you're working together, everyone's working towards a greater good, you have competitive people who are collaborating, working with each other, you're going to generate more revenue, which is going to lead to more success. And hopefully those successes get you to the point where you hit the goals and everything like that they're expected of you. So there's camaraderie and alignment there. And then the last piece is you have sustainable growth. You're always going to have turnover, hopefully for good reasons, because you're doing such a great job developing people within your culture. People are moving up and eventually they move on and take your culture and take that flag with them to the new place that they go. You kind of spread your wings across the industry. I've seen that happen, and that's really cool to be a part of and get to see. But you're retaining people. They feel bought in. They feel heard. They feel that they can be themselves. And they're engaged in what you're doing. So hopefully the financial incentives tied to what it is that they're looking to earn. But sometimes people will take less money to be part of a greater culture because they're learning, they're growing, they're developing, they just enjoy what they're doing every day. They feel a greater sense of purpose and belonging to what it is that they're doing. So all that leads to just long-term sustainable growth, because you're not continually having to turn people over and then I'll recreate the culture. But you've established this culture, here are expectations, and when someone comes in from day one, they can easily opt in or opt out of this culture. And everyone knows, like, if they fit in, then great, this is something I want to be a part of. And others that maybe this isn't what resonates with them, you can and they can easily decide this isn't for me, which that's okay sometimes. They're not a fit for everyone, and the culture isn't going to be the right fit for everyone there. But really, I just think through, and a lot of us know, like, because we're in sports and we know some of the big companies, and it's very tough to hold ourselves to the standard. But when you think in sports, like the Yankees, there's a certain culture. Just being here in Miami, they talk a lot about the culture with the Heat that's been, consistent over 20 plus years with the organization, some of the leadership. You look at large companies like Apple, Google, like, again, those are very difficult to replicate because, those are very visionary leaders who've built these billions of dollars organizations over time. But that's what you're looking to have this standard of excellence, standard of a culture, and holding people accountable to that, which again takes a lot of intention, a lot of hard work, a lot of deliberation. But I think when you can put that first, the rest of things kind of fall in line. If you put revenue and numbers first, but don't prioritize the culture, you may have high performers, and for a short period of time, you may have success. But really, you're looking to create something that stands the test of time, is sustainable over the long term. And when you have that culture, that's something that you can do. and something you could focus on so you have sustainable long-term success. So next week, I'll talk about another topic as it relates to sales leadership around recruitment and retaining high performers. Something that I always loved as part of being a leader was the recruiting part of it, and making sure that you retain your top people and making them feel appreciated, which all kind of ties back into this theme today around a winning sales culture. But again, appreciate you tuning in as always. Any feedback, definitely send it my way. This is going to be a fun series, and looking to continue with other future videos. So thanks.